Hey, welcome to this episode of Get Therapy. I'm Michael. I share my knowledge of musical gear solutions which are cheaper and better, in my opinion. And today, I'm gonna share you how to get the fun part of Ableton Push 3 for free if you got an iOS device. Let's go. Akai just got a new competitor for their stupidly designed shoebox, because Ableton just decided to stick a super weak computer on the back of their super fancy MIDI controller, remaining the classic chopping board design. By the way, if you missed my MPC standalone for free video, you can check it out, link in description. I don't know you, but when I'm using my chopping board, I don't always leave it onto the table of my kitchen. Once I finished the chopping, I always put it in the corner against the wall immediately, cause my table doesn't have that much room for this huge chopping board, collecting dust all the time. That is also how I deal with all of my instruments. I won't let them take up too much of my living space. Wait, where were we? Ableton Push 3, right. I'm sorry, it's just too distracting. I couldn't help but thinking of making egg-fried rice with my chopping board, cause Ableton Push 3 is almost 3 times big than this one. Oh, Push 3 times. That makes sense. But I won't take 3 of this huge and heavy thing outdoor. Not even one. But since it's an instrument, so I guess it is okay to be huge and heavy, right? Cause at least we don't need to carry the weight on our shoulder while playing. Thank God it's not a Les Paul guitar. Actually, what people want from the Push 3 is to freely express themselves without spending years of instrument training on scales, chords, etc. They just want an easy instrument to achieve that and make them looking cool. And I can definitely feel the heat on the market for the expressive instrument playing solutions. Some people even think banana is the future of our instrument. Seems like we humans really evolved from monkeys. But let me tell you a truth. That so-called MPE synthesizer is not new and expensive at all. I have been using MPE synths for live performance since 2011, using a free app on my iPad all the time. And you know me, it's the GarageBand. Wait, Michael, what are you talking about? We need MPE synthesizer, and Push 3 is perfect for that. We don't need your amateur GarageBand. Okay, if you don't believe me, let me explain what is MPE to you. MPE is short for MIDI Expressive Controller. I'm sorry. What I'm talking about. MPE is short for MIDI Polyphonic Expression. To put it simple, with normal MIDI controller, all the keys shares the same pitch bending value and other modulation parameters. But with MPE, every note has their own parameter value, which means you can get much finer control for each and every note. The most practical usage would be the pitch bending and modulation for each and every note. And you can achieve that right inside iOS GarageBand for free. This is my iPad mini 1st gen, came out in 2012, shares almost the same specs with iPhone 4S. This is not something new. And I specifically chose this 10 years old product in this video, just to remind you how hilarious this music gear industry is. So with this outdated iPad running iOS 9, I can already play a lot of MPE synthesizers. No joke, I play it on the stage. For example, I can play the double bass in a really expressive way. Every note played by my finger has its own pitch bending. That is MPE. Now you may say, okay, Michael, good for you, but you are only controlling the pitch bending. How about note velocity? You can never achieve that on your poor touch screen. Well, I don't mean to shock anyone, but actually, yes, you can achieve note velocity purely with the touch screen, without any workarounds. Just let me record some drum note playing in GarageBand, and then let's check out the note velocity of the recorded notes. See, I'm not lying. I'm assuming Apple achieved this by calculating the touch point area increasing speed and then transfer it into the note velocity. It's totally doable. And here it is. It's at least a 10-year-old technology. This is not some fancy device by nowadays standard. It doesn't even have that stupid 3D touch screen, which I know exactly that it will fail since day one. But back to the topic. Yes, you can achieve note velocity with GarageBand on the touch screen. Now you might argue that for Ableton Push 3, if you hit different part of a pad, it will make a different sound, giving you a more dynamic result. Well, yeah, it's the same with the touch screen. If you touch a different place, you get a different result. That is what a touch screen is all about. You see, close hi-hat, open hi-hat, pedal hi-hat, snare drum, rim shot, side stick, right cymbal, right bell. You just touch different place and then get a different result. And I can even do finger drumming purely on my iPad because I just know what I'm doing with or without any fancy gear. By the way, I just started a new video tutorial series called Finger Drummer 101, which will share you my secret tips for becoming an actual finger drummer without buying any drum set or fancy gears. All you need is just a super cheap 25-key MIDI keyboard. Any brand will do. My tutorial will come with technique explanation videos and play-along materials, which will be available for my Patreon. Come and join if you're interested. Link in description. Now, let's move on to synthesizers. GarageBand has a lot of synth options. Just choose one and change the glissando button to pitch. And then, you got a super expressive MPE synthesizer. See? Totally MPE synthesizer. Now you may say, Michael, your tiny little screen only have no more than 2 octave notes, but the Push has 8x8, which is 64 notes to play, which is more than 5 octaves. How about that? Checkmate. Well, if you need more octave range, you can just hit this button in GarageBand, and then it will give you a 2-row keyboard. A double-row keyboard. And you can also make the keys thinner to squeeze out more key range to play. No, Michael, I couldn't play piano at all. I need scale mode to help me play everything. Now, how about that? Okay, then you just hit the scale button and then choose the right scale for you. If you want to change the key, you can also hit the setting range button and then set the key. Now, what else? Right, a DAW. For $19.99 or $9.99, you only got a 16-track DAW. GarageBand is also a DAW without any track limitation, and it is free. No, we want all kinds of fun drum loops in Ableton Live, not your stupid GarageBand. Okay, but actually, GarageBand also has a lot of loops too, and they are well categorized. You can filter them by choosing instrument, genre, and descriptions like melodic, distorted, feel, etc. And it's not stupid at all. It literally has a smart drummer in it, and you can totally control it like a real drummer. With only a few clicks, he can almost play every genre. And the rhythm can even follow a specific track. I won't dive too deep in this video, but in short, it almost has everything for you to start making music. I know a lot of you are really keen on loop-based music creation workflow, but which DAW doesn't have loop function? For GarageBand, when you are creating a new project, it will create you a section which has 8-bar looping area by default. If you only need 2 bars, then just record 2 bars and then set it to loop. It's not a big deal. For me personally, I always prefer the arrangement view because it gives me a clearer vision on how my music evolves. But when I'm using Ableton Live's arrangement view, I don't even know where to start because I just couldn't find out how to play my tracks. The spacebar doesn't work at all. You see, Spotify uses spacebar to play. GarageBand uses spacebar to play. And the most anti-humanity designed DAW, Reaper, uses spacebar to play. What were Akai thinking? No. What were Ableton thinking? Spacebar should be the only legal way to play music, in my opinion. Wait, what I am complaining about is actually Ableton Live DAW, not the Push 3. Cause the Push 3 doesn't have the arrangement view at all. Problem solved. Bravo! And it is such a brilliant decision, since most gear collectors only play with loops and never actually release them. So we just need to lock them into endless loops so that they won't easily realize that they suck at music and nobody cares about what they're making. Therefore, their inner side won't feel the emptiness and meaningless, so that they can keep buying more gears and sharing more posts on their social media, which eventually benefits manufacturers to sell more gears. I'm sorry, monkeys. Welcome to the jungle. If you got the money, honey, we got your disease. Jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Watch it bring you to your knees. They're gonna watch you bleed. And if you tell me you want to free your eyes while making music with the benefits of all of those buttons and endless knobs, then you're so wrong. With Push 3, you still need to use your eyes to seek for the visual feedback information. Cause from the slim screen, you will enter an endless menu diving universe. Since those knobs can control everything, then you have to use your eyes to make sure what they are actually changing first, and then start your tweaking. And even for a single parameter tweaking, you still need to tweak with your eyes, because those knobs doesn't have that click, 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 click feedback. So you need to use your eyes to make sure you have changed the right amount of change. Then what's the difference with just using a mouse or trackpad to control the parameter? They all require you to use your visual feedback information, look for things to change, and then look for the information feedback to make sure the things have changed properly. Trying to use 8 endless knobs is just like trying to use 8 mouses for a computer, which is hilarious. Not only the Push 3, all the controllers with endless knobs, they're just hilarious, in my opinion. And don't even bring up the fancy wireless file transfer feature to me. This iPad mini first generation came out in 2012. Already has AirDrop feature on board. It can transfer files with my MacBook without any Wi-Fi connection needed. How would you think I managed transferring the GarageBand project file to my computer, then share it on my Patreon, which can be opened by iOS GarageBand, macOS GarageBand, macOS Logic Pro, and iOS Logic Pro. Link in description. The file transfer is so freakingly smooth, and everything I mentioned has been free for 10 years. You might think Ableton Push 3 can be really handy and inspiring, help you make more interesting music, because all of those early gear receivers are exactly showing you that with their videos. But let's do some fact check. When was the last time you see Andrew Huang using his Push 2 in his video? I'm a fan of him, but I haven't seen him using that gear for almost 2 years. I'm not a stalker. You can just check out his videos. He has all the shooting angles to tell you what gear he's currently using in his video. Everything is in public. No Push 2 in my eyes. And as a heavy Ableton Live user, why didn't he bring his Push 2 to the space? Is it too huge or too heavy for space traveling? I don't know. Maybe go ask him. He is the push pusher, not me. Also, when was the last time did you see Cuckoo using Ableton Live? As far as I can remember, he's a Logic Pro user, and he also prefers Arrangement view. Again, I'm not a stalker. He is the one who tells me everything with his video. I'm just a long-term fan of everyone. I'm not a stalker. I'm a believer. I believe whatever they say because I like them. I like their content. But I'm just confused that why suddenly everyone started to use Ableton Push 3, even before they are actually released. How far do you think they can keep using that gear in their future video? To be honest, I don't know. But what I do know is that they need to get paid well enough to keep being an online salesman for a specific gear, which is not that useful for most of people. And you are paying for everyone and everything. This is my take on how to Ableton Push 3 an MPE synthesizer for free. Leave a comment if you have any question. Like, share, subscribe. Also check out my free plugin, AASamplePlayer and AnyAmpIR. Free for basic version and Patreon for advanced version. You can also download all of my GarageBand project file on my Patreon. Freely exploring the amazing job this iPad mini 1st gen did. You can also check out my Finger Drummer 101 tutorial series on my Patreon, link in description. And I'll see you in the next episode. Spoiler alert, I'm gonna share you how to get the latest, fanciest Apple product for free. For people who always complain that your Apple product is not free. We'll see you next round. By now, you might already realize that my Gas Therapy is actually a sit-down comedy, which somehow happens to be practical and useful for certain group of weird people who like to make noise. And I'm not specifically against anyone or any company I mentioned in my video. I'm against all of them! You know what? I just found out that the black color of my iPad mini 1st gen is exactly the same with the midnight color of the latest M2 MacBook Air. They are tricking us like a monkey.